Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode of PDs at Sea. We actually did not plan on this episode. This is very
On the
spontaneous.
fly.
Why are we doing this, Dr. Stahl?
Well, as many know, today is application day in the ERAS world. 9 a.m. Programs can start to see residency applications for the PDs online. You cannot bulk print until 3 p.m., which is a source of utter frustration for me. But applications are open and the text messages are flying. And we wanted to get first impressions on how you think you did this year.
So, Dr. Stahl, can we discuss how many signals we got? What do you think is fair game here?
I think I have no problem. I think that data will come out eventually. And what I'm surprised at, and I wonder if you are, is we got about 3 times as many signals as last year. And that makes sense because applicants had 3 times as many signals to give. So you know, I think in many ways it was right in line with what we expected. I think one of the cool things is that applications were down, which hopefully means that some candidates took our advice and said, I'm going to be really thoughtful about where I put my signals, and I'm going to apply to programs that I signal, and I'm not going to shotgun apply to 80 places.
That is interesting. So, my peaked around 2,000 applications. It dropped a little bit last year, very little bit. And this year, I'm down to about 1,500.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
So it is impacting. So I have about 1,500. I think I can say a little bit over a third of those are signals. I'm trying to have a debate within myself. How high yield is it going to be for me to spend any considerable amount of time reviewing the applications that don't come with a signal? How are you going to approach that?
Yeah, we were having the same conversation. We got about 1,700, just under 1,700 applications, and about a third signaled. And that's down from at the end of the last season, we were at 2,200. So when I say that it's good news that we got last applications, I don't want anybody to think we're being flippant. We think that this means that applicants are applying to programs that they really want to be at, as opposed to applying to all the programs. And that we think is better for everyone because it means that we can spend more time reviewing applications of people who want to be here and are likely to come here. And then you can spend the time up front that you guys have already done going to open houses and figuring out where you want to be. And so to answer your question, I don't think we're going to look very closely at applications that didn't signal us as a program signal. I think I did run the numbers on our geographic signal non-program signal and our geographic no preference non-program signal. So we got about another third of the applicants preferenced our region, but not our program. And then a very small number, about 140 preference, no geographic, like I'll be anywhere, but didn't program signal us.
I heard some information, and I think you're probably more up to date on the facts than I am. Last year, if you read no preference as a program director, it could have indicated that they actually had preferences, none of which included your geographic region.
Right.
I've heard a rumor that's changed. I think you probably know better than I do.
No, I think actually I can pull up ERS while we're looking, but I felt like when I was looking at it, it was the same that I couldn't see if someone didn't preference us, didn't preference our region, so to speak, then I couldn't see what regions they did preference.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find.
I heard some tell that no preference could actually come with a qualifier, which was I actually have no preference, as opposed to my no preference is not indicative that I have a preference, not including your region.
Got it. Yes, you do have the applicants did have the option to say I have no preference, which means like I will go anywhere, and I can see that, and I can see people who signaled our geographic region, which is East, North, Central, which is super unhelpful, but is basically Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin. But outside of those two, I just see blank. So if somebody was like, "Hey, I'm East Coast. I am New England, New York, and Mid Atlantic." Like I just see blank in that segment, but I don't see. But if they preferenced no preference, I see that separately.
Awesome. So between gold and silver, as you decide how much time you're going to spend, I think a holistic review of an application is useful. The more you look, the more information you get. So are gold signal applicants going to get a really holistic review of their application.
And
Silver
the other ones get
applicants,
the light holistic review.
yeah, like the low calorie version. What do you think? You haven't started yet. I haven't started yet. How, we're very busy people.
Yep.
How are you going to spend your time?
I think just the fact that we're going to be able to review less applications means we'll be able to do a holistic review on all of them. We got through over 1,500 applications last year, like in detail, and it took forever. So we can do, a third of that this year in detail. I think where the gold silver will be is like if we have tiebreaker decisions about interview status, like that might be a tiebreaker.
So you're saying holistic for gold and silver, and the other ones not so much.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're going to start out.
So in the past, before the signal system, I had no way of determining whether or not an applicant was really interested. If someone, they might look like the kind of person who comes to my program, but I have no idea if they applied to 40,
Right.
50
They really hate New York City.
Yeah. So my strategy was I had a pretty good spidey sense about which applicants I felt were really interested, so I could send out my first wave of applications. And then I would do rolling opening of applications and rolling invites. And the way that I found out whether or not they were really interested was they emailed me. And that was helpful. Last year, what I found was that we had more people emailing me, and I think because of the signals afterwards, and it made me less confident in the sincerity of those emails.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a hypothetical. It's mid-December, and you get an email from an applicant, no signal. Let's say two versions. Let's say they had applied to you. Your application is sitting in Eris for you right now. They email you and said, you know what? I knew nothing about your program. I'm hearing all of these great things. I particularly like the opportunity to see everything within one campus and in his freestanding children's hospital.
Yeah.
I know I didn't signal you, but I would have if I had the chance earlier on, if I know what I know now. Is that person now going to appear to you like someone who really has signaled? Will you consider their application? Will you find it to be sincere?
I think it's going to be. I probably will try to look at their application if I can. I think it is unlikely that that's going to really move them from didn't have a holistic review to offering an interview. I won't say like no entirely, but I found the same last year with 5 signals, and with 5 signals it felt a little bit more like maybe I was their number 6. Maybe I'm being wishful there, but maybe I was their number 6. Now it's like, well, hey Brian, you were my number 16, like and maybe now you've moved up, you're actually number 12. I wish I could have changed my mind. I think that's a harder bet to say, hey, does this person really want to be in the program? It's not. And again, like I don't want to discount how hard this is for candidates to try to figure out information about the program, to figure out where they're competitive. I think there was a lot of effort to advise candidates this year, but a lot of unknown. And so I know there's a ton of anxiety today. We want you all to be successful. I think I speak for Brian and I when that comes, but I don't know that those emails are really going to change minds. What do you think?
Well, I want to change. Let me change the conditions of the hypothetical.
Oh, okay.
So let's say this is an applicant who says, you know what, I was advised that I'm not going to get many interviews beyond the programs that I signaled. I've heard about your program on the trail, a lot of buzz. I particularly like specifics X about your program, and you find that they have now applied, let's say early December. They had not previously applied. You have a new application from them sitting in Eris that wasn't previously there. Does that impact your sense of their sincerity? Ooh. Yeah.
That's a good one. I really don't know. I don't know what I would do with that one. I think I probably would still treat it as I'm their number 16 and then try and work backward from there. So if I'm their number 16, what does that mean? And what does that mean relative to the other people who I was in their top 15 who are signaling me? Because going back to your original point about like thinking you could figure out who wants to be in New York City, I think that when I took over the program here, one of the changes that I made was to try to look more broadly geographically and say, hey, I'm not from Ohio. I never thought I would live in Ohio, and now I live in Columbus. I probably can justify why someone from San Francisco might want to move here if the conditions were right. And so but I don't know if I wasn't even in their top 15, if I can make that same leap.
I gotta say, with that shirt, you look like you're from Ohio.
I'm
I,
fully integrated.
well, I mean, I have to be honest. In years past, I did have people who very sincerely. Now, whether or not I would have been in their top 15 at the start of the year, I did have people who very sincerely stumbled upon my program, heard some buzz. This is the only downside that I can really identify with the signaling system. I actually did give one applicant the advice: you're not going to get much response after the programs you signal. I think
Yep.
you're wasting money. You might even be better off just applying to the 15 programs you're going to signal. If you hear about a program, it might actually make you look more sincere if you then ante up the money, pay, and apply later to add it, saying I heard something.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know how that's going to be received. I think I would receive that better, because last year those emails just came pouring in, and I think people were
Yeah. At
not
one
going
point, I got like almost 50 emails in a day from candidates, and it's not like I just can't. There's no possible way to answer them all, and there's no possible way to reread all those applications. It's unfortunate because I know it comes from a good place of like wanting to be in the profession and all of those things. It's just like a tough situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think just now that we've gotten the data and we've seen the signals we have, I think both of us, it sounds like, are feeling like the signals are really going to help us spend a lot more time reviewing the applications for which we got signals, and the rest are probably not going to get much of a look.
Yep.
In future years, maybe it's going to help applicants save some money. I hope it doesn't hurt. I don't think it's going to hurt people in terms of their ability to match, because those people who are gobbling up the best, all the interviews because they have a good application, are going to be limited in their ability to do that.
Right.
So how's the rest of your day going to be spent now that you have all these applications to look through, Dr. Stahl?
Now I'm starting to mess around with looking at them a little bit, but really I'm probably going to wait till I can bulk print and download them in one big file swoop and look at them. So we'll see when that starts at 3 o'clock.
Well, thank you for this very impromptu talk. First reactions at the new system. We'll probably have a talk later on. Just so everyone knows, we have some recorded interviews coming up. We have the newest program director in New York City interviewing the longest serving program director in the country, asking for advice about the process. And we also are going to have a talk with a freshly retired program director to talk about the challenges of the role. So a lot more content coming. I hope this is useful for all of you. Thank you, Dr. Stahl. And
If you guys have suggestions about topics for us to cover going forward, please let us know as well.
we would love to have your suggestions. All right, time to get to work, sir.
Thank you.